and so today I'm just going to tell you a little bit about where I'm at with my picture storybook so far. I've got my inspiration from my last placement, where I noticed that the Karen students in my class had a lot of trouble fitting in with the other kids, and the other kids didn't really make an effort at all to make them feel welcome. So I've decided to base my book around a 9-year-old boy called ALEMU. ALEMU means his world in Ethiopian. So he was actually born in a refugee camp, but his family's originally from Ethiopia, and in his family he's got mum, dad and some siblings. So he's at the refugee camp waiting to come to Australia. In Ethiopia, in the refugee camp, he loves to play soccer, and that's just like his favourite thing to do. So when he comes to Australia, he of course needs to start school, and he doesn't know any English at all. He has a really hard time just talking to his teacher, making friends, and all he does is miss his friends from the refugee camp. So he spends a lot of his time watching from the outside, and the other kids just don't make the effort to make him feel welcome. I'm unsure about how these scenes are going to go so far, so hopefully someone can give me some ideas. The climax of the story I thought could be a soccer game, so I thought that he could be chosen last, as people just don't really know ALEMU and they haven't really had the chance to get to know him. And when the game starts, the kids realise that ALEMU is actually really awesome at soccer, so it's just a way for them to all bond and get to know ALEMU in a way that doesn't highlight their differences. I'm going to get my book printed at Officeworks on the glossy paper, just with a clear plastic cover and a spiral spine. I've had it done like this before and it worked really well, and it's not too expensive. The teaching possibilities for this book are pretty broad. I haven't actually decided on an activity, but I think it's a book that could just help students empathise with the students that might feel left out, like they don't belong. I've chosen to use watercolour in my book. I picked these up from the $2 shop and they work really well. I'm also using the disc, and I picked up some watercolour paintbrushes. So I have started to do some illustrations. This is an illustration of his mum, and that was one of his dad. And I'm trying to draw someone playing soccer, and it wasn't working very well, so I'll have to practice that. What I've chosen to do is I've drawn it on normal paper like this, and then I've actually photocopied it onto thick watercolour paper so I can practice with different colours and things like that, so I don't have to keep drawing the images. So here's an example of what I thought his house in Australia could look like. I remember Sue de Janeiro said you can use grid paper as the windows, and I thought that actually looked really cool, so I cut out those little parts. So here I'll just show you how I've done the watercolour. So this is where it's been photocopied onto watercolour paper. So this is actually ALEMU, the main character. This is his dad. So to draw these images, I did print off some inspiration pages just to get some ideas, and I spoke a bit to my mum as well. She works sometimes with refugees when they come to Australia to help them decide if they want to learn English or gain employment and things like that. So she's helped me understand the process of where refugees come to Australia. I also printed off some images of the suburb of Footscray. I read that a lot of Ethiopian refugees actually go to Footscray. For my heading, I think I'm going to do it like this actually. It's just a really small bubble writing. I saw this kind of design on a blog on the internet, and I just thought it looked really cool. I did try and use pencil, but I just think that the watercolour looks a lot better.